Welcome, traveler of quiet skies. You've found your way again, through distance, through light, through the long hush that lingers between planets. Tonight, the sleep space will take you closer to the sun, to a world of shadow and silver. A planet that turns so slowly, it forgets the rhythm of its own days. This is Mercury, the smallest of the planets, the fastest around the sun, and yet, paradoxically, one of the slowest to spin. It's a paradox wrapped in brilliance, a world where a single sunrise can last 2 Earth months, and where the night is not dark, but brushed with eternal memory. If you could stand there, in that silence so sharp it feels like sound, you'd see the sun swell, 3 times larger than it does from Earth, rising not once, but twice, before it sets. The airless sky would reveal stars, even at noon. Shadows would stretch for miles, bending softly over the fractured plains like long sighs of light. Mercury carries scars from the earliest days of the solar system. Its surface gray, cratered, ancient, is like an old book written before language learned rhythm. And yet beneath that stillness, it hums, iron heart beating within, magnetic field whispering faintly into the void, a pull, too gentle for eyes, but steady enough for time itself. It is the planet of extremes, hot enough to melt lead on the dayside, cold enough to freeze nitrogen in the dark, and between those opposites, in that razor-thin margin of twilight, the temperature is just right for peace. This is where we'll rest tonight, between fire and frost, between movement and stillness. So let the world outside grow dim. Let your breath align with Mercury's orbit, swift, elliptical, ancient. Each inhale is sunrise. Each exhale is the long, patient dusk. And as we begin our journey, know this: Mercury may be small, but its silence is vast. It does not ask for awe-only presence. It exists not to be seen, but to remind us that even the smallest things can carry the weight of light. Now, let's drift closer through the solar wind, through the slow tremor of radiation, through the dust that dances between orbits, each grain older than every mountain on Earth. In the distance, the planet shimmers like a coin half buried in shadow. We'll land softly on that silence and listen, because Mercury, too, has stories to tell. 50 of them, each quieter than the last. Each one leading you deeper into the soft machinery of the universe. It seems impossible, doesn't it, that the world brushing the edge of the sun's fire could remain cooler than Venus, its distant cloud-swaddled sister. And yet, Mercury, so near the furnace of creation, glows but does not burn. The secret lies in what it lacks. There is no air, no wind, no sky to hold the heat. When sunlight touches the rocky surface, it strikes like an open flame. Temperatures soar to over 400 grados Celsius. But when night arrives, the warmth escapes into space almost instantly. By dawn, the surface can plunge to 180 grados Celsius, cold enough to freeze metal. Without an atmosphere to soften the extremes, Mercury's day and night are 2 different worlds, stitched together by silence. The ground expands with heat, then cracks in the dark, creating long scarps, wrinkles in the planet's skin, frozen mid-motion. They look like mountain ridges, but are really the fossils of breath, reminders of how the planet once cooled and shrank. From above, through the lens of Messenger, you'd see them stretching for hundreds of kilometers, casting shadows like calligraphy across stone. In that light, even stillness seems to move. The sleepy scientist whispers, Heat without air is only half a flame. Even fire, to live, must learn to hold its breath. So breathe with Mercury now. Inhale the sun's warmth. Feel it gather behind your ribs. Exhale the night's chill. Let it rest on your skin like silk. Between those two, balance lives. Between those two, you can rest. Mini hook. And within that fragile balance lies something even stranger, ice, glimmering in eternal shadow, untouched by the sun that burns above it. Fact, does ice in the shadows. At Mercury's poles, sunlight never reaches the deepest craters. There, the darkness is not mere absence, it is a shelter. Temperature has remained so low that water ice, delivered by comets long ago, still glistens across the crater floors like powdered glass. Radar from Earth first revealed their brightness, echoes bouncing back stronger than expected, as though the darkness itself were reflecting light. Later, Messenger confirmed it. Real ice, pure and ancient, trapped beneath a thin layer of dust that protects it from the sun. Imagine that a world of extremes, where daylight could melt stone, yet night shelters frozen water. Each crater is a paradox, sunlight and shadow sharing a border no wider than a thought. The airless silence amplifies everything. If you could walk there, each step would sound like the beginning of time, crisp, sharp, final. Your shadow would be endless, and before you, the frost would sparkle faintly in starlight, like memories refusing to melt. This is what the universe does best. It keeps opposites close enough to hold hands. Mercury's ice is not abundance. Its grace a reminder that even in heat, cold endures. The sleepy scientist murmurs, balance doesn't mean comfort. It means both truths can exist side by side. So breathe in the cold light of those shadows. Exhale the weight of contradiction. Let your body remember what your mind forgets. That peace is not the absence of extremes, but the trust that they can coexist. Mini hook. Beneath those frozen craters lies something hidden, still a core, so vast it almost makes Mercury a metal world wearing a stone mask. Fact 3's. The iron heart of Mercury. Mercury is small, yet dense, the second densest planet after Earth. More than half its diameter is core, made mostly of iron and nickel. It is a metal world with a crust thin as a whisper. No one knows exactly why. Perhaps long ago, a colossal collision stripped away much of its lighter rock, leaving behind this gleaming skeleton. Or perhaps the sun's fierce radiation burned away what never belonged, refining the planet to its essence. Whatever the cause, the result is remarkable. Mercury's magnetic field, though faint, still hums, proof that deep inside, molten metal continues to swirl. A heart of liquid iron beats beneath the frozen silence. A furnace surrounded by ice. Messenger's instruments detected subtle variations, evidence that the core may still be partially alive, convecting, changing shape with time. A reminder that even the smallest world can hold a secret fire. If you could listen closely enough, you might hear that heartbeat. A low vibration passing through rock, a sound slower than thought. It's not rhythm, it's persistence. The sleepy scientist's tone falls to a hush. To endure is to burn quietly. You carry the same fire. It does not shout. It hums beneath your calm, warming the spaces even silence cannot reach. Breathe in the memory of molten light. Exhale the sound of cooling metal, and let yourself drift, balanced between gravity and glow, as Mercury turns, slowly, toward another impossible sunrise. On Mercury, The sun rises so slowly that you could walk beside its edge of light and never lose it. A single day from one sunrise to the next lasts 176 Earth days, while a full year around the sun lasts only 88. Time, here, folds in on itself. This strange rhythm is caused by a delicate cosmic lock. Mercury spins 3 times on its axis for every 2 orbits it completes around the sun. It is a tres contre deux resonance, a dance so precise that even gravity cannot break its pattern. Because of this, if you stood at the right spot, the sun would rise, pause, drift backward, then climb again. A sunrise in reverse, a loop of light and memory. Imagine standing in that ancient dawn. The horizon would blaze white, then deepen to orange, and for weeks the sunlight would climb inch by inch, casting shadows that move slower than thought. Your heartbeat would become a calendar. You would forget what day means. Messinger once captured this stillness. Landscapes where time appeared carved, not passing. Craters layered with centuries of dawn. Rocks scorched on one side and rimmed with frost on the other. The surface is both burning and frozen, each half waiting for the other to breathe. The sleepy scientist's voice becomes quiet, reverent. Mercury does not measure time, it rests inside it. Inhale it slowly. Feel the weight of a day that lasts half a year. Exhale, letting your thoughts stretch across centuries of light. Even the smallest moment can feel infinite when nothing rushes. There is a crater on Mercury so immense that it could swallow Western Europe whole. Its name is Caloris Planitia, the basin of heat. It was born from violence, yet remains serene. Billions of years ago, a massive asteroid struck the young planet, releasing more energy than every volcano on Earth combined. The impact melted the crust, forming a sea of lava that cooled into golden plains of basalt. Today, the basin stretches 550 kilometers wide, its edges rimmed with mountains taller than any on Earth, its floor cracked and patterned like the surface of cooled metal. Messinger's cameras revealed that even on the opposite side of the planet, the shock wave left a mark, like out it region of jumbled hills, called the weird terrain, where rocks were shaken into strange spirals, as if Mercury itself remembered the impact in its bones. And yet, the wound glows. Seen in sunlight, the basin reflects faint gold, a weed created by volcanic glass and iron dust. Destruction became reflection, violence became light. The sleepy scientist speaks softly, almost like a sigh. Even the deepest scars can shimmer, if given enough time to cool. You can breathe with that thought now. Inhale the heat, what once hurt. Exhale the shimmer, what it became. Even craters can be calm. Even the broken can shine. Most worlds expand as they age, their interiors cooling and cracking outward. But Mercury is different. It is shrinking. As its iron core cools, the planet contracts, its crust folding in on itself, forming enormous cliffs known as lobate scarps. Some rise more than a kilometer high and stretch for hundreds of kilometers across the surface. They look like wrinkles on old parchment, curling softly under light. Messenger found thousands of them, each a frozen wave of motion, evidence that the planet's heart is still tightening, still reshaping the surface as the inside cools. In cosmic terms, Mercury is aging gracefully, becoming smaller, denser, more compact, its outer layer folding gently around its inner fire. To stand there would be to walk along the memory of pressure. Each cliff would gleam under the morning sun, throwing shadows deep enough to hide from the heat. You could trace your hand along the rock, and feel the slow exhale of a world turning inward. The sleepy scientist murmurs, "To shrink is not to vanish. It is to become what you were meant to be." Let that rest in your breath. Inhale the sense of holding. Exhale the fear of change. The universe is full of worlds that grow smaller, but none that lose their grace. And somewhere, beneath those silent cliffs, Mercury's core still beats slower now, steadier, a heart content to cool in peace. There is a border on Mercury where neither day nor night truly exist, a moving line of twilight called the Terminator. It is here that the sun's heat fades into shadow, and the frozen plains begin to breathe again. Unlike on Earth, there is no atmosphere to scatter light. The horizon changes instantly from blazing white to black velvet, stars emerging just a few meters beyond your shadow. The contrast is so sharp, it looks unreal. One half of the landscape glowing, the other half swallowing light completely. This line of balance moves slowly, taking nearly 3 Earth months to complete its journey from sunrise to sunset. And in that long march, the rocks expand, crack, and cool in endless rhythm. Dust rises and falls silently, tiny particles floating in the faint electric field created by the solar wind. In the vacuum, even silence becomes a kind of motion. Messinger once looked across this frontier and saw the faintest hint of color. The sunlight refracting through scattered sodium atoms, an invisible exosphere, so thin that it barely counts as air, yet enough to paint the horizon with a whisper of orange. To drift here would be to stand at the edge of opposites, to feel light without heat, darkness without cold. The Terminator is where contradiction finds peace, where every sunrise becomes a meditation on impermanence. The sleepy scientist speaks softly. We live most of our lives at the Terminator, between thought and rest, between what glows and what fades. So breathe along this slow horizon. Inhale the gold of morning. Exhale into the silver of dusk. You don't have to choose one side. You are the line that connects them. And as Mercury turns, that line continues forever. A quiet, shifting balance that never truly ends. Mercury lives in the grip of gravity, so close to the sun that it completes a full orbit every 88 Earth days, faster than any other planet. Its path is not a perfect circle, but an oval that changes shape over time, wobbling slightly, as if the sun's pull were breathing. This subtle motion, called precession, puzzled astronomers for centuries. Even Newton's laws couldn't explain it. The numbers were close, but not quite. The planet's orbit shifted a little more than theory predicted, a mystery that lingered until Albert Einstein arrived. When Einstein introduced general relativity, he revealed that space itself bends around mass. The sun, being enormous, curves the fabric of space-time, and Mercury being so near dances on that distortion. Its orbit doesn't just move through space, it moves through time. Each century, the ellipse of its path rotates slightly, our cosmic clock marking the curvature of reality. It was Mercury, not any grand experiment, that proved Einstein's equations true. If you could watch it from above, for millennia, you'd see the orbit draw a slow rosette pattern, petals of motion blooming endlessly around the sun. No two paths exactly the same, yet each connected by the invisible hand of gravity. And through all of this, the planet remains calm, enduring heat, pull, and pressure with perfect rhythm. It bends, but never breaks. The sleepy scientist's voice deepens, carried on the low hum of imagined gravity. Even the smallest body can reveal the laws of the infinite. You don't have to be vast to teach the universe how to turn. So inhale the pull of gravity, that invisible tether between you and everything that warms you. Exhale the illusion of control. You are already orbiting what you love. There are places on Mercury where the sun performs a quiet miracle, rising once, pausing, setting again, then rising a second time before it finally climbs across the sky. This strange ballet happens because of the planet's unique spin. As Mercury moves along its tres contrados resonance, its orbital speed and rotation briefly synchronize, causing the sun's motion to appear to halt and reverse. For several days, dawn seems uncertain, a flicker of time caught between motion and stillness. Imagine is standing there, watching the sun swell 3 times larger than it looks from Earth. The light would be white gold, so intense it would turn shadows into rivers of black, and then, slowly, it would stop. As though, taking a breath, the horizon would shimmer, and against all reason, the sun would fall backward, only to rise again, slower this time, softer. Messinger captured the mathematics behind this illusion, but not the feeling. The feeling cannot be graphed, only felt in silence, like the moment between heartbeats. When motion becomes memory, the ground beneath your feet would groan softly, expanding under heat, contracting under chill. Each sunrise would carve another line, each sunset another pause. The sleepy scientist smiles through their words. Even the sun, when seen from the right distance, knows how to hesitate. Breathe with it now. Inhale the pause before brilliance. Exhale the peace that follows reversal. You are allowed to stop mid-orbit, to glow, to fade, to begin again, and somewhere, far beyond that slow horizon, the sun continues its patient waltz, rising twice, always, for those who wait to see it. Mercury has no true atmosphere, no blanket of air to scatter sunlight, no clouds to drift or thunder to roll. And yet, it carries a faint exosphere, a ghost of air made from atoms knocked loose by the relentless solar wind. Each particle lives only a few moments before escaping back into space, but together they create a shimmering halo that glows with trace elements, sodium, calcium, and potassium, forming colors we cannot see, but instruments can. When sunlight strikes these atoms, they fluoresce faintly, a golden mist around the planet's edges, so faint that even a telescope struggles to catch it. Messinger's detectors did. They found streams of sodium trailing from the poles like invisible smoke, carried by magnetic currents that flow outward toward the sun. Mercury, in its silence, glows not by reflection, but by the gentle breathing of its own atoms. If you could hover above the surface, you would not feel this air. There would be no wind against your face, no resistance, as you move your hand through it. But your eyes would notice a faint blur along the horizon, a thin veil that turns blackness into dark blue for a heartbeat before it fades again. Every now and then, meteoroids strike the planet, releasing new atoms into the exosphere, a sigh of renewal that lasts only days. Each impact is both loss and restoration, matter leaving, matter returning. The sleepy scientist's voice is soft, full of reverence. Even silence finds ways to speak, not in sound, but in shimmer. So inhale this invisible air. Exhale the need to be seen, to exist. Let your calm glow quietly, like Mercury's sodium light unseen, but undeniably real. The smallest whisper of presence is still enough to change the color of a world. For centuries, scientists assumed Mercury was long dead. Its core solid, its magnetism gone, its silence complete. But in 1974, when Mariner D's flew past, instruments twitched. There it was, a magnetic field, faint but true. Later, Messenger confirmed it. Mercury's iron core is still partially molten, swirling slowly, generating a field that stretches far into space. It's weaker than Earth's by 100-fold, but strong enough to carve a small magnetosphere, protecting the planet from the sun's charged breath. Solar particles rush toward Mercury every second, and the magnetic field bends them aside. Not perfectly, but gracefully. Some particles slip through, hitting the surface, knocking atoms loose to feed the exosphere again. Our circle of protection and renewal, endless and quiet. It hums. You can't hear it, but you can imagine the sound. A low vibration, steady and deep, like the echo of a bell rung in slow motion. The magnetic lines twist and shimmer, their edges glowing faintly with plasma, an unseen symphony around the smallest world. Mercury's heart may be ancient, but it is not still. Even now, it steers, cooling slowly, whispering heat into its iron walls. The sleepy scientist murmurs, like a lullaby, stillness is not silence. Even in quiet hearts, there is movement. So, breathe with the field. Inhale. Feel the pulse that moves through your chest. Exhale. Let your own rhythm align with Mercury's hum. You are magnetic too. You pull, you protect, you glow. And somewhere, far away, the smallest planet continues to spin, its molten heart steady beneath an endless night. Mini hook. Deep within that quiet core, Mercury carries one last mystery, frozen carbon rising like dust, darkening the surface in delicate shades of shadow. Mercury's surface, though bright in sunlight, is darker than the moon's. This darkness puzzled scientists for decades. Why would a world so close to the sun wear such a dim complexion? The answer came, as it often does, from the stars themselves. Tiny grains of carbon, carried by ancient comets, have settled over Mercury's crust for billions of years. When these icy travelers burned away under sunlight, they left behind dust, thin as smoke, black as midnight. Over aeons, the dust mixed with impact glass, staining the plains with subtle shades of charcoal. Messinger's instruments found that this darkening isn't random. It's heaviest near the ancient basins, where impacts were strongest, and faintest in newer terrain. The dust moves like a whisper of memory, drawn by electrostatic charge, sliding across the surface in gentle tides. If you could touch it, it would feel like the softest ash, weightless, ancient, sacred, each grain older than the earth itself. The sleepy scientist speaks slowly. Even light needs shadow to be seen. Mercury wears darkness as its way of shining. Let that truth settle into your breath. Inhale the warmth of sunlight. Exhale the cool of shade. Both belong. Both define the other. You don't have to be bright all the time. You only have to reflect light faithfully, even if it's faint, even if it's quiet. And as Mercury continues to orbit, its gray skin shimmers with stories, a canvas painted by dust, sunlight, and time. If the planets were storytellers, Mercury would be the eldest, its face carved by memory, untouched by change. While winds reshape Mars and volcanoes renew Venus, Mercury's surface remains frozen in its first language, impact. It has no weather, no water, no erosion. Every crater, every scar, every fracture is a preserved word from the beginning of the solar system. Scientists call it a fossilized world, a time capsule that never aged past its childhood. Its craters are so dense they overlap, forming a terrain known as heavily cratered highlands. Some are small, as pebbles, others vast as seas. Among them, the Caloris Basin dominates, but beyond it, thousands more ripple across the horizon, each one a record of cosmic collisions when planets were still forming. Messinger found that even the smallest craters tell a story. Some contain melt pools that reflect sunlight, like silver glass. Others hide shadows where ice still clings to the cold. And between them, plains of smoother rock into crater plains show where ancient lava once tried to heal the wounds. Even the healing left a scar. If you could stand there, your feet would rest on rock more than 4 billion years old. Every grain beneath you would have felt the sun since the dawn of light. The silence would not be emptiness, but endurance. Each crater, each ridge, each wrinkle, a syllable in Mercury's long whisper, "I was here first." The sleepy scientist lets the words linger. Mercury teaches us that scars can be sacred, proof that you've survived every collision. So breathe with the planet's patience. Inhale the stillness of ages. Exhale the rush of your own brief time. You are ancient too, made of the same dust that built Mercury's plains. And as you drift through thought, you may realize nothing truly fades if it leaves a mark. No wind shakes Mercury, no seas roar upon its shores. And yet, the ground moves. Subtle, slow, almost imperceptible. Mercury quakes. When Messinger mapped the planet in exquisite detail, it found fresh scarps and fault lines. Cliffs so new they hadn't yet gathered dust. Some cut straight through ancient craters, proof that the surface still shifts as the planet's core cools and contracts. These are not violent earthquakes, but quiet folds, the slow sighs of a cooling heart. Each quake tightens the crust, each movement shrinking Mercury by another meter. It's as if the planet were curling up, drawing itself inward for warmth. Even in death, it breathes. Even in silence, it moves. Astronomers estimate Mercury has shrunk by nearly 7 kilometers in diameter since its birth. A whole mountain's worth of space folded into itself, invisibly, but real. If you stood at the edge of a fault, you could peer into a shadow cast for 1 billion years and feel the faint hum of tension beneath your boots. The sleepy scientist whispers, stillness can be a kind of motion, the slow rearranging of what endures. So breathe into that small quake within yourself. The shift between worry and peace, between holding on and letting go. The Earth moves quickly, but Mercury reminds us that change doesn't always need to rush. Sometimes transformation comes in inches, folding quietly over time. And somewhere beneath that ancient crust, the iron still murmurs, the rock still settles, and Mercury, small and strong, continues its silent evolution. Mercury may be small, but it glows with something vast, a halo of light that arcs faintly around its sunlit edges, not of air or clouds, but of dust, magnetism, and solar fire. This halo is made from the dust of meteoroids, constantly striking its surface, each impact releasing tiny plumes that drift upward before sunlight blows them away. Billions of invisible grains form a tenuous ring that circles the planet's orbit, a cosmic mist illuminated by the sun's rays. It's called the Mercury dust cloud, and though invisible to the naked eye, it was confirmed by NASA's Parker Solar Probe in 2019. The probe detected faint glimmers of scattered light, a soft brightness where none should be. Mercury leaves a trail behind it, a whisper of its passing, a trace of presence in the emptiness of space. The dust isn't random, it moves like thought. Solar radiation pushes it outward, gravity pulls it back. Together, they form patterns that shimmer like lace made of light, a living map of motion, drawn and erased in the same breath. If you could see it, it would look like a dawn that never ends. Gold, quiet, and infinite. The sleepy scientist smiles softly, voice like drifting wind. Even the smallest traveler leaves light behind, so breathe with that truth. Inhale every step, every thought, every kindness leaves something behind. Exhale, it doesn't need to last forever to matter. Mercury moves on, trailing brilliance through the dark. It's fragile, halo-proof, that even dust can shine when touched by the sun. On Mercury, where sunlight strikes unfiltered and unbroken, even the rocks remember heat. Each sunrise awakens a furnace, a raw blaze, that turns stone into near-molten shimmer. And from that heat, something delicate is born. Impact glass, a kind of natural mirror, forged where meteorites meet sunlight, where violence cools into stillness. These glasses form when asteroids crash into Mercury's crust, melting the surface in a flash of brilliance before freezing solid again in seconds. What's left are plains of glassy beads, microscopic globes that gleam beneath a thin veil of dust. Messinger's spectrometer caught them, a faint reflection, smooth and quiet. Their chemical fingerprints unlike any found on Earth. They are made mostly of silicates, but laced with traces of sulfur and sodium, compounds that survive because Mercury has no air to erode them. Without wind or rain, the glass remains perfect. We untouched for billions of years. Imagine walking across it, the ground beneath you hard and silent, the light bending softly around your steps. 1,000 tiny suns shimmering underfoot, each fragment a frozen memory of fire, a flash preserved in silence. These glassy fields tell the story of constant renewal. Every impact is destruction, but every destruction gives birth to reflection. And in the endless balance between heat and stillness, Mercury shines most beautifully when it breaks. The sleepy scientist's voice lowers to a hum. Light passes through what has learned not to resist. Breathe in the glow. Exhale the ashes. You, too, can turn fire into clarity and endings into glass. Mercury's glass planes stretch endlessly under sunlight, each surface holding the memory of impact, each reflection a reminder that even violence can create something calm. Long ago, Mercury was a sea of fire. Volcanoes raged across its plains, pouring molten rock into basins so vast they swallowed entire regions. The result was a landscape we still see today. Endless lava plains, smooth and unbroken, their flow patterns frozen mid-motion. Messinger's images revealed sinuous channels, rivers of stone that once glowed red. Some stretch for hundreds of kilometers, coiling through craters like veins of ancient light. The lava cooled slowly, its surface wrinkling into patterns that resemble the surface of poured wax. These plains are rich in magnesium and sulfur, proof that Mercury's mantle was once alive with chemical fire. Yet unlike Earth's volcanoes, Mercury's eruptions were not explosive. They were serene floods, quiet and unstoppable, reshaping the planet without a sound. The last of these eruptions ended billions of years ago. Since then, no volcano has stirred. The lava sleeps now, smooth as glass and cold as memory. If you could walk those plains, you would see ripples, stone waves frozen mid-crest. You could trace them with your hand, feeling the ghost of motion beneath your fingertips. The sleepy scientists' tone softens, reverent. Even what no longer moves can remember how. So breathe with the still lava. Inhale its quiet endurance. Exhale the idea that only movement means life. Mercury's calm is not absence, it's aftermath. Every cooled river was once a flame, and every still plain once danced. And somewhere deep below, perhaps, that heat still murmurs, the faintest ember waiting for no one. There are no clouds on Mercury, no thunder, no sound to tell you when the storms arrive. And yet, above its poles, the solar wind rages constantly. A storm made of particles, light, and magnetism. The sun hurls a river of charged particles through space, and when they strike Mercury's magnetic field, they spiral downward toward the poles, creating miniature auroras, invisible to the eye, but glowing in ultraviolet light. Messenger detected them first, pulses of brightness flickering near the magnetic cusps, proof that even without air, the planet hosts its own kind of northern light. These auroras are silent, flickering across craters hidden in shadow, lighting up the frozen ice below. Unlike Earth's dancing curtains of green, Mercury's auroras are ghosts. No color, no shimmer, just faint radiation brushing the surface. Each pulse lasts seconds, born of collisions between solar wind and magnetic breath. In those moments, the planet's poles hum faintly, as if the sun itself were whispering through the magnetic field. The ice gleams brighter, and the thin exosphere above it ripples like silk. If you could stand there, you'd see nothing, but you might feel it, a soft vibration through your boots. A resonance between your pulse and the planet's. The sleepy scientist murmurs, "Not all storms destroy. Some only remind you that light never stops moving." So breathe in the storm, not as chaos, but as rhythm. Exhale your edges. Let yourself drift like dust in the solar wind. Mercury spins on, small and luminous, its poles glowing invisibly under a sun that never rests. A quiet storm of light that never ends. Mercury does not orbit the sun in a circle. Its path is an ellipse, stretched slightly like a breath held halfway. Every 88 days, the planet completes its lap, sometimes closer to the sun, sometimes farther away, never once tracing the same line twice. This subtle variation is part of what makes Mercury so captivating. Its orbit is alive. The sun's gravity bends space itself around it, pulling Mercury along invisible curves. Each orbit shifts a little, rotating in a pattern that drew the first proof of Einstein's relativity. The planet is both a traveler and a teacher, showing that time and motion are one and the same. If you could draw its path in the dark, you'd see a delicate flower blooming around the sun. Each petal a century of motion, each curve an echo of gravity's whisper. It's a rhythm older than Earth's oceans, a movement so precise it could measure eternity. The sun's light flares along this path, painting Mercury in faces like the moon, from crescent to full, then fading again. Seen from Earth, the planet becomes a tiny silver seed, rising and falling across dawn skies, sometimes visible, sometimes gone, always returning, always faithful to its invisible ellipse. Messinger and Mariner both confirmed what ancient astronomers only guessed. Mercury's orbit is a lesson in patience. It bends, it wobbles, but it never strays. The sleepy scientist's voice dips low. Even in imperfection, there is symmetry. Even in asymmetry, there is grace. So breathe in the curve. Exhale the need for straight lines. The universe moves in ellipses, not certainties. Let your life bend gently too. And as Mercury glides through its stretched orbit, its path glimmers like thread, a silver stitch holding the solar system together. Mercury moves through, a sea of invisible motion, microscopic particles shed by comets and asteroids, drifting endlessly around the sun. Over billions of years, this dust has brushed across Mercury's skin, slowly polishing its surface until it gleams like grey satin. Each grain is ancient, born from the ruins of other worlds, shards of comets that died in sunlight, splinters of rock shattered by impact. They fall endlessly, a soft, cosmic rain. Messinger's sensors recorded faint flashes, tiny meteor hits that burst for milliseconds, each one bright enough to light a crater's edge. These impacts release vapor into space, replenishing Mercury's thin exosphere, a delicate balance of destruction and renewal. You could say, the planet breathes through dust, inhaling debris from space, exhaling vapor into light. And the dust, in turn, shapes the way Mercury reflects sunlight. That faint sheen visible through telescopes. It isn't smooth rock. It's the soft scattering of endless collisions. If you could stand there under the sun, you'd see dust sparkle, like snow in the vacuum, each particle drifting slower than thought. The silence would hum, the ground would shimmer, and time would lose its edge. The sleepy scientist murmurs, everything that touches you leaves light behind, even the things that fall apart. Breathe that in. Exhale your sharpness. The universe is a gentle abrasion, a slow smoothing of edges, a long polishing of being. Mercury endures this cosmic rain, not as punishment, but as rhythm, a slow, eternal snowfall that keeps its skin bright. Deep inside Mercury, beneath a crust only 400 kilometers thick, lies a heart that refuses to rest. More than half the planet's volume is iron, and much of it still hasn't cooled. As the molten core solidifies, it contracts, pulling the planet inward, wrinkling its surface like a slowly closing hand. The process creates heat, and that heat keeps part of the core liquid, turning Mercury into an engine of quiet endurance. It's strange a planet so small, yet still alive inside, not in the way of volcanoes or oceans, but in pulse. The core stirs, sending faint magnetic tremors through the rock above, the last echoes of formation. Messinger's magnetometer revealed patterns that shifted as the spacecraft orbited, evidence that magnetic fields rose and fell like tides. Inside Mercury, time moves slower. Each cooling layer traps a little warmth, like breath caught between heartbeats. If you could listen close enough, you might hear the sound, not of beating, but of settling, a metal lullaby in frequencies too low for ears, vibrating through stone, soft and infinite. The sleepy scientist's tone grows almost a whisper. The smallest fires burn the longest. So breathe with Mercury's warmth. Inhale the iron glow. Exhale the thought that small means fragile. Strength isn't loud. It's steady, And as the planet cools millimeter by millimeter, its core continues to hum, beneath a sky without wind, a song of slow endurance carried across billions of years. On Mercury, the sun is both artist and sculptor. Without air to scatter its rays, sunlight strikes the ground with unfiltered precision, etching mountains, ridges, and crater walls into sharp relief. Every stone casts a shadow so crisp it could cut glass. Every sunrise redraws the same terrain in new geometry. When dawn comes, it does not rush. For nearly 2 Earth months, the sunlight crawls across the horizon, turning black rock gold, then white, then silver. Heat seeps slowly into the surface, spreading like ink across the plains. By noon, the brightness is unbearable. The airless light has nowhere to soften. But then, as dusk descends, the warmth flees, and the same landscape hardens back into blue-gray silence. Over billions of years, this constant thermal sculpting, heating, cracking, freezing, has reshaped Mercury's crust. Rocks split, then reseal. Dust drifts across the microgravity planes, settling into soft patterns that resemble ripples on a pond. They call it thermal fatigue, but it's more like breathing, expanding, contracting, resting. Messinger's high-resolution images captured this strange beauty. Crater rims glowing like polished metal, shadowed valleys colder than Pluto, mountain edges shining with dust that glitters for only seconds before fading again. If you could stand there, you'd see no clouds, no ace, only pure contrast. Light and shadow, burn and freeze. A balance the planet has perfected. The sleepy scientist's voice drifts low, like a hum in the dark. Light does not choose where to fall. It only asks to be received. So breathe with the rhythm of Mercury's light. Inhale brightness. Exhale shadow. You are both illuminated and still, shaped by the heat of day and the cool of night. Mercury teaches not resistance, but surrender to change, to cycles, to the endless sculpting of light. Mini-hook. And even in those sun-scorched plains, Mercury holds traces of life's oldest visitors, organic molecules carried by comets that found shelter in the eternal cold of its poles. Billions of years ago, when the solar system was young, comets and asteroids roamed like nomads, each one carrying the ingredients of life in its frozen heart. Some of them fell upon Mercury, striking with enough force to melt rock and scatter dust. But in the deep shadows of polar craters, something stayed. Messinger's instruments found it. Dark deposits, rich in carbon compounds. The building blocks of life. It is astonishing, a world too hot for water, yet sprinkled with the same chemistry that seeded Earth. These molecules likely came from comets, ancient travelers who carried ice and organic matter. From the edges of the solar system, when they collided with Mercury, the heat stripped away the water, but the carbon survived, preserved in places the sun never touches. Inside those cold craters, temperatures drop below 170 grader Celsius, cold enough for organics to last billions of years unspoiled. No atmosphere, no erosion, no decay. They remain there still, black dust, glinting faintly under ultraviolet light, echoes of a story that began long before Earth learned to breathe. If you could kneel in that eternal shade, you might see nothing but darkness, and yet that darkness would hold chemistry older than oceans. The sleepy scientist whispers, life is not fragile, it is patient, so breathe in that patience. Exhale the need, for beginnings and endings. The universe does not rush creation. It lets molecules wait, quietly, faithfully, until the right moment to awaken. Mercury reminds us that even the smallest world can carry the seeds of everything. It sounds like a contradiction. Our planet scorched by the sun, yet home to permanent ice. And yet, Mercury keeps its frost in silence, hiding it deep within the craters near its poles, where sunlight never reaches. These craters, some stretching over 10 kilometers wide, are bowls of eternal night. Because Mercury's tilt is almost zero, less than 1 degree, the sun's rays never touch their depths. Inside, temperatures remain below 170 grados Celsius, cold enough to preserve water ice for billions of years. Messinger's radar mapped these bright regions, reflecting signals so strong that only ice could explain them. Later, spectrometers confirmed it. The craters glitter with frost, shielded by a thin layer of carbon dust that keeps the ice from evaporating. It is both fragile and eternal. Imagine the view. Standing at the crater's rim, you would see light blazing on one wall and darkness absolute on the other. Between them, a line so thin it could cut eternity. Step below that line, and the world turns blue-black, your shadow swallowed instantly. There, in that quiet cold, the ice gleams faintly, a mirror reflecting the faintest sunlight from above. Each frozen molecule might be older than the planet itself, water from distant comets, trapped and dreaming. The sleepy scientists' tone softens into awe. Even the sun cannot burn everything it touches. So breathe in that paradox. Warmth above, frost below. Exhale the thought that contradiction means conflict. Mercury teaches balance, heat and cold, coexisting, light and shadow, sharing one heartbeat. And as the planet turns, those frozen craters remain still, unchanged, untouched, a testament to endurance in the face of fire. Mercury has no tectonic plates like Earth, no shifting continents, no drifting crust. And yet, mountains rise there, not pushed upward from within, but folded softly under pressure. They are called lobate scarps, cliffs that stretch for hundreds of kilometers, formed as the planet's core cooled and contracted, pulling the crust inward like fabric gathering at its edges. Some of these cliffs are over a mile high, curving gently across the plains like frozen waves. They slice through craters, cross old lava fields, and vanish into the horizon where sunlight fades into gray. Messinger mapped thousands of them, each one proof that Mercury is still shrinking, still settling into its final shape. If you could stand at the base of one, you'd see layers of ancient rock pressed tightly together, stone upon stone, wrinkle upon wrinkle, as though the planet had drawn a long, slow breath and never exhaled. The slopes are steep but smooth, and in the low gravity, you could walk for hours, without tiring, tracing the line of tension that has lasted for billions of years. Every crack, every fold is a gesture of endurance. Sometimes, when the sun sets, the cliffs cast shadows hundreds of kilometers long, turning the plains into ribbons of light and darkness. From orbit, they look like brushstrokes, a quiet art made by pressure and time. The sleepy scientist speaks like a sigh. Even stone remembers the shape of surrender. So, breathe with Mercury's folds. Inhale the weight of years pressing softly inward. Exhale the release that comes with stillness. To fold is not to break it, is to yield gracefully. And as Mercury continues to cool, Its mountains will grow a little taller, its wrinkles a little deeper, its silence a little more complete. When Messenger first sent back close-up images of Mercury's surface, scientists saw something no one expected. Small, irregular depressions, shallow and bright, as if someone had dusted the craters with silver ash. These features, called hollows, are unlike anything found on other rocky worlds. They cluster along crater floors and mountain walls, glowing pale against the darker terrain. They are young, geologically new, perhaps even still forming. The secret lies in Mercury's volatile elements: sodium, potassium, sulfur. When exposed to sunlight, these materials evaporate, leaving behind empty pockets where rock once was. The result: smooth, rimless pits that sparkle faintly in the glare. Imagine standing near one. The sunlight would blaze so fiercely that the ground would look metallic, the hollows gleaming like drops of quicksilver. No wind, no sound, just radiance and reflection. Messenger's spectrometers revealed that the hollows reflect light differently than the surrounding rock, suggesting that the process of sublimation, of rock turning straight into vapor, is still active today. Even in its silence, Mercury breathes. The sleepy scientist's tone drops to a whisper. Even what disappears leaves brightness behind. So breathe in the shimmer. Exhale the void. Not all absence is loss. Sometimes it is transformation. Mercury's hollows are not scars, but sighs, tiny exhalations of a planet that refuses to rest completely. They glint in the sunlight, like mirrors of impermanence, a reminder that even stone can let go. From Earth, Mercury is elusive, a flicker of silver that appears near the horizon just before dawn, or just after sunset. It never climbs far from the sun, always lingering in twilight, always half hidden by light. To ancient sky watchers, it seemed like two different worlds. The morning star that rose before sunrise, and the evening star that followed the dusk. They gave it two names: Apollo for dawn, Hermes for night. Only later did they realize it was one planet, a single traveler, seen from two sides of time. Mercury's visibility shifts with its orbit. For weeks it gleams low in the east, then vanishes into the sun's glare, then reappears in the west. Each cycle repeats every few months, a pattern so regular that ancient astronomers used it to mark the seasons. Viewed through a telescope, Mercury shows faces like the moon, crescent, half, full, as sunlight sweeps across its face. Sometimes, when the air is perfectly still, you can see it quiver like a silver ember, the smallest planet shining with the oldest light. In those brief appearances, it reminds us how beauty can exist in brevity, how something that lasts only minutes can still return forever. The sleepy scientist speaks tenderly, like a thought half remembered. Mercury never asks to be seen. It simply appears, enough to remind us that morning and evening are the same breath. So breathe with it. Inhale the dawn. Exhale the dusk. You are both. You are the pause between light and light. Mercury rises, sets, and rises again. Never far from the sun, never absent for long, a messenger of beginnings that never end. Every so often, Mercury drifts directly between Earth and the sun, becoming a tiny black dot gliding across the golden disk. This event, a transit of Mercury, happens only about 3 times each century. It lasts for hours, yet, from Earth's distance, the planet looks no larger than a grain of dust moving across fire. And yet, this simple motion is profound. It is geometry made visible, the alignment of three celestial bodies in perfect harmony. Astronomers watch closely, measuring the precise timing of Mercury's passage to refine our understanding of orbits, light, and gravity. The first recorded observation was in 1631 by the French astronomer Pierre Gassendi, using a small telescope and infinite patience. He saw the tiny shadow crawl across the sun's face, so small he could hardly believe it was real. Since then, each transit has been a quiet festival for those who love the sky. During transit, Mercury appears to move slowly, taking about 6.5 hours to cross from one edge to the other. But in that time, it travels millions of kilometers through space, a whisper of motion on a scale beyond comprehension. Messinger, too, once looked back toward the sun and captured its faint outline against the brilliance, proof that even the smallest presence can eclipse the infinite, not by blocking the light, but by reminding us that perspective is everything. The sleepy scientist's tone carries a soft smile. Even a speck can trace perfection when it moves with purpose. So breathe with that alignment. Inhale the precision of the cosmos. Exhale the need to be large, to matter. You, too, can cross your own horizons quietly and still be seen by the light that knows your name. And as Mercury's shadow glides across the sun, it vanishes, not with a flash, but with grace, turning once more to orbit, unseen, until geometry calls again. Though Mercury is small and airless, it is never silent. Every moment, it interacts with the solar wind, streams of charged particles that wash over it like invisible rivers. And from this meeting of fire and metal, a faint hum arises, a pattern of radio emissions that ripple through space. Messinger detected these echoes, bursts of energy born from the interaction between magnetic field and plasma. They come and go with the sun's rhythm, pulsing faster during solar storms, then falling quiet when the star rests. Each pulse is a wordless conversation, a dialogue between heat and metal, energy and silence. These signals help scientists map the magnetic field, and they reveal something unexpected. Mercury's magnetosphere is alive. It shifts, breathes, and crackles, like static caught between stations on a cosmic radio. If you could translate it, you'd hear a melody of repetition, a heartbeat hidden in static. The sun speaks, Mercury answers, the space between them hums, and in that hum, you can almost sense rhythm, not sound, but pulse. The sleepy scientist's voice falls to a murmur. The universe does not need silence to be quiet, so breathe with that frequency. Inhale the pulse that moves unseen through everything. Exhale into stillness. You, too, hum with invisible music, the electric whisper of a living body, the resonance of thought in motion. Even between stars, there is no true emptiness, only the space where echoes rest before returning. Mercury's inner world is made of iron, a colossal metallic heart that fills most of its volume. It is the densest planet after Earth, and its iron core stretches over 80% of its radius. So vast that if Mercury were hollow, its heart alone could almost fill our moon. Long ago, the core was fully molten, a sphere of radiant metal swirling under immense pressure. As the planet cooled, parts of that core began to solidify, locking heat inside like breath in glass. But the center still flows, turning slowly, powering the faint magnetic field that protects Mercury's skin. Messinger's gravity data revealed that this liquid layer is thinner now than it once was, but still active. It churns not in chaos, but in memory, a slow rotation, echoing the planet's earliest days. If you could look through the crust, you would see the core glowing faintly red, not bright like fire, but warm, dense, alive. It is not destruction that makes it burn. It is endurance. The sleepy scientist's voice glows, like the core itself. Some fires burn so long they forget they are flames. So breathe in the warmth of persistence. Exhale the myth that endurance must roar. Its strength, like iron, does not need to be seen, only to remain. Deep beneath Mercury's calm surface, the heart still turns. Lays of patience, a pulse older than oceans, younger than infinity. And as you listen in silence, perhaps you'll realize that same quiet iron hums in you too. At first glance, Mercury seems dull, a grey, cratered world, stripped bare by the sun. But that's only what the eye sees. In truth, its surface glows with subtle hues, pale yellows, deep browns, soft violets, and faint traces of blue that linger in shadowed plains. When Messinger captured Mercury in color for the first time, its scientists were astonished. The muted palette, invisible to human sight, revealed patterns of mineral diversity. Younger craters shimmered with faint blue, a sign of freshly exposed rock, rich in iron-poor silicates. Older plains showed warmer tones, their surfaces weathered and darkened by long exposure to the sun's radiation. This radiation, relentless and ancient, acts like a cosmic painter. Every atom it touches changes shade, some lightening, some darkening, until the whole planet becomes a mosaic of quiet transformation. The result isn't brightness, but depth, seen through calibrated color filters. Mercury looks like an oil painting, its plains swirled with gold and violet, its mountains streaked with delicate cyan, as if a brush of starlight had passed across them once and never again. Even dust from meteoroid impacts adds to this palette. Tiny grains of carbon and metal mixing with basaltic glass to create tints no artist could replicate. It is beauty born from endurance, color found where color should not exist. The sleepy scientist smiles gently through the words. Even the grayest things remember how to glow. So breathe in those hidden colors. Exhale your need for brilliance. There is radiance in restraint. Light that does not demand attention, but waits quietly to be noticed. Mercury, closest to the sun, is not scorched white but painted in whispers. Its true face visible only to those who take time to look slowly. It sounds like a dream, like a planet with a tail like a comet, to streaming behind it as it races around the sun. But it's true. Mercury leaves a faint trail of sodium and dust that stretches millions of kilometers into the darkness. Unlike a comet's icy plume, this tail isn't made of gas or vaporized ice, but of atoms torn from the planet's surface by solar radiation. Each particle glows softly when struck by sunlight, emitting a golden hue that telescopes can detect from Earth. This tail is always there, invisibly to human eyes, but permanent. It follows Mercury like a shimmering whisper, curving with its orbit, bending under the pressure of solar wind. The sodium tail, as it's called, was first detected in 2001 by astronomers using special filters. Messinger later confirmed it, revealing a river of atoms flowing endlessly behind the planet. Every orbit replenishes it anew as the sun strips away another layer of rock, turning Mercury's surface into light. If you could see it up close, it would look like gold dust drifting in slow motion, a cosmic sigh escaping into infinity, and yet the planet never disappears. The loss is constant but small, a rhythm of giving and remaining. The sleepy scientist whispers, voice soft as drifting sand. To glow, you must let go. So breathe with Mercury's release. Inhale what you hold too tightly. Exhale what can shine without you. The planet keeps orbiting, lighter with every turn, but no less itself. Its tail a testament to quiet surrender. Mercury's surface is made of stone older than memory, a crust that has survived every flame, every impact, every age of light. It endures not because it resists, but because it adapts. The upper layers are covered in regolith, a fine powder of shattered rock and dust, ground down by billions of micrometeorite strikes. Each impact vaporizes a few grains. Each grain that remains becomes smoother until the ground itself feels like powdered glass. Underneath lies a foundation of basaltic rock, rich in magnesium and calcium, forged in the planet's volcanic youth. It's tougher than it looks, designed by gravity and fire to survive extremes. By day, it expands under temperatures over 400 grados Celsius. By night, it contracts under the freezing dark of 180 grados Celsius. And yet, it never crumbles. The fractures deepen but do not break. The surface breathes but holds. Messenger found traces of silicate minerals that mirror those found in Earth's mantle. Proof that even under constant stress, Mercury's skin remains strong. The planet does not hide its scars. It carries them gracefully, like folds in an ancient fabric that has learned to bend without tearing. If you could reach down and touch that ground, it would be warm to the hand, thence silent, resilient. Every atom would hum faintly with sunlight. The sleepy scientist speaks as if tracing the surface with their fingertips. His strength is not what refuses to change, but what survives through it. So breathe in that endurance. Exhale the strain of permanence. The world doesn't need to stay whole to remain complete. Mercury endures by yielding, and in doing so, becomes the most honest mirror of all. A small, grey, luminous world that has never stopped turning toward the light. Even now, Mercury hums, though it has no oceans, no storms, no molten mantle to quake. Its core still moves, spinning faintly beneath a crust of silence. That slow motion powers a magnetic field, weak but steady, is stretching thousands of kilometers into space. Messenger's instruments once detected strange fluctuations, tiny ripples in the magnetic field that repeated like a heartbeat. Scientists trace them to the molten outer layer of the planet's core, where liquid iron churns against solid metal, conducting electricity and shaping invisible lines of force. These magnetic lines twist and loop, forming a small magnetosphere, a fragile shield that dances with solar wind. Every time the sun flares, charged particles slam into this field, causing it to bend, spark, and pulse. Mercury responds with silence, absorbing the storm, letting the energy pass through without shattering. From space, these pulses look like breaths. The planet expands and contracts, its magnetic shell shimmering in slow motion. It is the smallest planet, yet It speaks the language of giants, gravity, heat, and magnetism, intertwined in an eternal rhythm. If you could listen closely enough, you'd hear it, Aum, beneath your thoughts, a low vibration that feels less like sound and more like recognition. The sleepy scientist's voice grows hushed, almost reverent. Stillness is not silence. Even in the quietest hearts, something moves. So breathe with that hidden pulse. Inhale the rhythm of the unseen. Exhale into stillness. The universe does not rush. It only turns and hums. Mercury's field, small and stubborn, reminds us that motion never truly ends. It only slows to a pace, gentle enough to dream. Mercury bears the marks of countless impacts, each one a frozen echo of ancient violence. Long before Earth cooled, asteroids rained across the inner solar system, and Mercury, closest to the Sun, was struck more often than any other planet. Its surface became a diary of collisions. Every crater, every ridge, every fracture tells of energy beyond comprehension. Some were small, tiny meteors that pitted the plains like dust on old parchment. Others were cataclysmic. The Caloris impact, perhaps the most powerful of all, nearly cracked the planet in half. The shock from that collision rippled through Mercury's core and re-emerged on the opposite side, creating a region scientists call the weird terrain, a humble of twisted hills and ridges that look as though stone itself had been melted and folded like cloth. Even today, the weird terrain defies explanation. It's a monument to memory, a landscape that remembers pain and reshaped itself into pattern. Messinger's cameras revealed something almost poetic. Within the deepest craters, new plains formed, smooth, dark, and strangely reflective. Molten rock had once filled these scars, cooling into glassy basalt that still catches sunlight after billions of years. If you could walk there, your shadow would stretch for miles, falling across the scars of creation. And yet, the silence would feel whole, not empty, but complete. The sleepy scientist whispers, "Ah," tone like distant wind. Impact is not destruction. It is transformation pressed into stone. So breathe with Mercury's memory. Inhale the weight of what has been. Exhale the peace of what remains. You are not your collisions. You are what solidifies after them. Most people think of tides as ocean waves, water rising and falling under the moon's pull. But Mercury has no says, and still it has tides. Not in water, but in rock. The sun's gravity pulls at the planet constantly, stretching it ever so slightly as it circles in its tight orbit. At its closest approach, the entire planet deforms, the crust rising and falling by several centimeters. It's called a solid body tide, and though small, it's powerful enough to affect Mercury's rotation. This constant tug is why Mercury spins in perfect resonance, 3 rotations for every 2 orbits. It's the universe's compromise between motion and pull, between freedom and gravity. Messinger confirmed these subtle movements, measuring how the planet's shape flexes and relaxes as it approaches and retreats from the sun. Each orbit is a heartbeat, the rock itself breathing under the weight of starlight. If you could stand on Mercury's surface, you wouldn't feel it, but the horizon itself would be moving, imperceptibly, rhythmically, forever. The sleepy scientist's voice flows like that invisible tide. Even what seems solid learns to yield. So breathe with Mercury's rhythm. Inhale the sun's pull, that invisible thread that binds all things. Exhale resistance, the illusion that stillness means control. The stars themselves are dancers, each world moving in obedience to light. And as Mercury bows and bends under gravity's hand, its quiet orbit becomes an act of grace, a lesson in how even rock can learn to flow. The sunlight on Mercury is not like sunlight on Earth. Here, it is unfiltered, unforgiving, absolute. 10 times stronger, bright enough to bleach the rock, powerful enough to vaporize atoms from the surface. When those atoms lift into space, they are caught by solar radiation, pushed into the faint exosphere that surrounds the planet like dust. Over time, this process, called space weathering, transforms Mercury's crust grain by grain. Each flash of light, each burst of solar wind, etches new patterns into old stone. The result is a paradoxical kind of aging. The more Mercury endures, the smoother it becomes. Its craters soften, their sharp edges melting into shadow. Its plains grow darker, not from dust, but from the accumulation of microscopic iron droplets, created when sunlight splits molecules apart. Messinger's spectral data confirmed this. Mercury's surface, though ancient, is still changing, still shaped by the sun, every moment of every day. There is no atmosphere to slow the process, no clouds to dim the glare. The sunlight falls pure and total, and what it touches, it transforms. If you could stand there, the brightness would feel alive. Pressure more than a glow, a warmth that seeps not just into the skin but into the mind. You'd see shadows so sharp, they look carved, as stones that glitter like burnished metal. You'd watch the horizon shimmer like heat incarnate. But Mercury does not resist. It simply absorbs, reflects, releases. It lets the sun write its story across its face, line by line, photon by photon. The sleepy scientist's voice becomes barely a whisper. To endure the light, you must learn not to hold it. So breathe in the brightness. Exhale the fear of being seen. The sun will not burn what yields to it. It only polishes, revealing what was always there. Mercury gleams, not despite its nearness to fire, but because of it, a lesson in how surrender can become radiance. Mercury is not a perfect sphere. It wobbles. It bulges slightly at its equator, flattens a little at its poles, and bears subtle dents from the endless pull of the sun. This asymmetry is not a flaw. It's the record of a lifetime under tension. As the planet cooled, its core contracted unevenly, causing the crust to shift and settle in slow, quiet motions. Over time, gravity sculpted the planet into something nearly round, but not quite. A world that carries its history in the smallest curve of its shape. Messenger measured these variations precisely. It found that Mercury's north and south poles sit slightly closer to the core than expected, while its equator, stretched by heat and rotation, protrudes like a subtle sigh against the void. The difference is only a few kilometers, less than the height of a mountain, yet enough to shift how the planet spins and moves. This imbalance gives Mercury its unique wobble, a libration that lets it turn one side slowly toward the sun, then away again, like a pendulum caught in starlight. It's why the same crater that glows at one sunrise may lie in shadow for centuries afterward. The planet's imperfection makes it mesmerizing. Every orbit reveals a slightly different face, a dance between tilt, rotation, and reflection. The sleepy scientist speaks softly, almost tenderly. Nothing in the universe is perfectly round. Even light curves when it travels far enough. So breathe in Mercury's unevenness. Exhale the desire to be flawless. Symmetry is not beauty. Pattern is. And pattern comes from living through time. Mercury, smallest of the planets, reminds us that the marks of history are not errors. They are texture. They are truth. And somewhere in that delicate imbalance, the world finds its rhythm, turning always. Never the same, yet always whole. Every few decades, Mercury, Earth, and Venus align, perfect chain of light, looping around the sun in an invisible spiral. Astronomers call it a planetary conjunction, but it feels more like choreography. From Mercury's perspective, the sky would shimmer with two radiant orbs, Earth, pale blue and bright, and Venus, glowing gold, both tracing slow arcs across the heavens. Sometimes they pass near each other, their lights so close they seem to touch. Other times, they drift apart, each carrying its own rhythm. Messinger once simulated what this would look like. A sky with no air, no twilight, just the vast black of space and two distant jewels. Earth would rise as a bright star and set over the cratered horizon, its blue light reflected faintly in Mercury's glassy plains. These alignments aren't just beautiful, they're vital. They allow scientists to refine orbital models, measure distances with exquisite precision, and test theories of gravity. But for those who simply imagine it, the sight is more than science. It's intimacy. Three worlds caught in one breath. From far away, it seems small, a few points of light crossing paths in silence. But the math behind it is vast. La conversation between time, distance, and motion. So precise it borders on poetry. The sleepy scientist smiles in wonder. Even the greatest distances can still move in rhythm. So breathe in this slow alignment. Exhale into connection. Your path may be your own, but it will always cross with others. Sometimes briefly, sometimes beautifully. Mercury keeps its orbit. Venus follows. Earth listens. Three notes in the sun's endless song, perfectly timed, perfectly fleeting. Mercury exists in a space few could survive, too close to the sun for comfort, too far from its warmth to feel embraced. It is a world suspended between fire and void, forever half lit, half frozen. The sunlight here is fierce, 10 times stronger than on Earth. Every dawn ignites the surface like polished metal, and every night erases that brilliance. In a chill colder than the moons of Jupiter, there is no middle ground, no mildness, only contrast. And yet, in that contrast, there is peace. Messenger's sensors once recorded this equilibrium. At the boundary where sunlight fades, temperatures hover near balance, too warm for frost, too cool for fire. It's the planet's heartbeat, thin ribbon of eternal twilight that circles the world endlessly. If you stood there, you would see the sun hovering low on the horizon, never fully rising, never fully setting. Shadows would stretch forever, and the light would gleam sideways across the dust, turning every grain into a prism. The silence would be absolute, but not empty. It would hum with the presence of starlight, a silence that listens back. In that fragile border, Mercury's extremes become harmony. Fire and ice meet, and neither wins. It is not chaos, it is balance so perfect. It feels unreal. The sleepy scientist breathes softly. Peace does not live in the middle, it lives in the meeting. So breathe with Mercury's edge, Inhale the warmth of the sun. Exhale into the cool of space. Between those opposites lies stillness, not absence, but completion. Mercury endures not by resisting the extremes, but by resting between them, a bridge of stone and shadow, between light and silence. Mercury's rotation is not constant. It drifts, slows, adjusts, ever so gently. This is because the sun itself pulls on it, tugging at its bulges, sapping a trace of energy with each orbit. It's a phenomenon called tidal braking, and it's been shaping Mercury's spin for billions of years. Once, long ago, Mercury rotated freely, faster, restless. But gravity found it, and over ages of friction and resonance, the planet locked into its tres contra dos rhythm, 3 spins for every 2 trips around the sun. It is no accident. It is cosmic precision, the perfect compromise between motion and peace. Messinger's laser altimeter confirmed that even now, the spin continues to slow, so slowly that it will take billions more years to change by a single day. Time moves differently here. Every sunrise lasts for weeks. Every noon could be a lifetime. If you stood on Mercury, you could watch the same shadow stretch, bend, vanish, and return, without the sun ever hurrying overhead. Your heartbeat would become the clock. Your breath would match the orbit, and suddenly, you would realize you are not waiting for time to pass. You are inside it. The sleepy scientist's tone falls to a murmur. Stillness is only speed seen from far away. So breathe with Mercury's patience. Inhale the rhythm of slowness. Exhale the chase. There is no rush toward completion, only unfolding. And as the planet turns, a little slower each age, it writes one long sentence across eternity. Motion is the gentlest way to rest. If you could translate magnetism into music, Mercury would be a symphony. Every charged particle that strikes its magnetic field creates vibrations, waves that shimmer through invisible space. They are not sound, as we know it, but rhythm, oscillations that dance between the sun and the surface. Messinger captured these signals, transforming them into frequencies low enough to hear. The result was haunting, a chorus of rising tones, crackles of plasma, and a long, slow hum that scientists nicknamed Mercury's song. The melody never ends. Solar winds play the planet like an instrument, plucking magnetic strings and sending their echoes back through space. Each flare from the sun changes the tune. Each orbit rewrites the key. It is music too vast for human scales, too delicate for silence. If you were floating above the surface, you would not hear it with your ears. You would feel it in your bones, a low trembling that syncs with your pulse, turning heartbeat into harmony. Even the rocks contribute. Minerals, rich in iron and nickel, resonate faintly under radiation, releasing electrical whispers that hum with the magnetic field. The sleepy scientist closes their eyes as they speak. All things that endure learn to sing, so breathe with Mercury's music. Inhale the rhythm, exhale the noise. You are part of this orchestra, your atoms made of the same dust, your pulse another measure in the same celestial song. Mercury hums, the sun conducts, and somewhere your own quiet melody drifts along with theirs, a thread of sound woven into light. Mercury's skies, though airless, are never empty. Every few weeks, as it sweeps through the inner solar system, The planet passes through streams of comet dust, the remnants of ancient travelers whose icy tails once glowed across the sun. When those tiny grains strike Mercury's surface, they burn in an instant. Flashes of white and silver, invisible to human eyes, but bright to instruments. Messinger's sensors recorded these impacts as sudden bursts of light, like microscopic shooting stars across a sky that should have none. Each spark releases sodium atoms, feeding the faint golden haze that surrounds the planet. Mercury becomes a quiet comet itself, a world that shines because it's always falling through dust. Unlike Earth's meteors, these flashes make no sound. There is no air to carry thunder, no etcher to answer back. The collisions are over before thought can catch them, leaving only warmth and motion, and a trace of vapor that drifts upward into sunlight. Every night, though, night on Mercury lasts for months. This rain continues, a steady glitter of particles striking ancient rock, refreshing the exosphere, repainting the surface atom by atom. If you stood there, you would see nothing, but your visor would catch the glimmer, brief sparks on the horizon, vanishing as fast as breath. The surface would glow faintly under your feet, each grain whispering, "I was a star once." The sleepy scientist murmurs softly, voice wrapped in reverence. Even dust remembers light, so breathe in the rhythm of quiet collisions. Exhale the noise of fear. Creation and erosion are one heartbeat. Every impact is renewal. Every fall is a return. Mercury endures, not despite what strikes it, but because of it. Its sky of falling silver. The proof that endings can illuminate the dark. On Mercury, sunlight behaves differently. So close to the sun, light travels not in straight lines, but along curves sculpted by gravity. Einstein predicted this, and Mercury proved it true. Its orbit is one of the first laboratories of relativity. The sun's immense gravity bends space itself, warping the path of light and matter alike. As Mercury moves through that curve, its speed and direction shift. Subtly, a slow procession, a dance that repeats every century, its rhythm shaped by the geometry of space-time. Messinger's laser altimeter confirmed it. Mercury's motion isn't randomness, it's precision beyond comprehension. Every centimeter of its orbit obeys invisible laws of curvature, as if light itself were tracing the planet's steps. If you could stand there, the sun would appear slightly distorted, its edges softened, its light bending just enough to shimmer like water. Shadows would behave strangely too. Edges would blur, lines would quiver, and movement would seem to lag by a breath, as though space itself were sighing. For centuries, astronomers puzzled over this motion, until relativity revealed the truth. Mercury doesn't move through space. Space moves with it. The planet follows the flow of gravity's fabric, a river of light, and time winding endlessly around the sun. The sleepy scientist's tone becomes quiet, almost sacred. Even light cannot resist being changed by love that pulls. So breathe with Mercury's orbit. Inhale gravity's invisible touch. Exhale your need for straight paths. You, too, move through curved space, each moment bending gently toward what matters most. Mercury's dance with the sun is not defiance, but surrender, the art of moving within what holds you. There is a moment on Mercury when the sun stops moving. It rises above the horizon, climbs slowly through the dawn, and then, as if changing its mind, it pauses, sets again, and rises a second time. This phenomenon is unique in the solar system. It happens because Mercury's rotation and orbit are perfectly locked, 3 spins for every 2 orbits around the Sun. At certain points in its orbit, its orbital motion nearly cancels its rotation, making the Sun appear to hang motionless in the sky. Messinger confirmed the timing. For several Earth days, the Sun stays frozen, its light quivering on the horizon like a held breath. Then, gently, it begins to move backward, sliding down, before climbing once more. A double sunrise, a celestial hesitation. Imagine standing there, a world of stone, silence, and gold. The sunlight would swell until it filled the airless sky, then retreat, then return, like a heartbeat made of fire. The shadows would stretch and twist, their edges trembling with brilliance. The ground would glow as if alive, and all around, nothing would move but light. The sleepy scientist whispers, each word drawn out like a sigh. Even the sun knows when to pause. So breathe with that stillness. Inhale the patience between motions. Exhale your need for constant ascent. The world does not always move forward. Sometimes it circles back to let beauty catch up. Mercury teaches the rhythm of reflection, that even fire must rest between breaths, and that stillness is the most radiant form of motion. In the far northern and southern reaches of Mercury, where sunlight never reaches, there are craters so deep that they are painted in perpetual twilight. Messinger's images revealed something astonishing there. Patches of faint blue light, a hue that exists not as color, but as reflection from ancient ice. These regions are called permanently shadowed craters, and their darkness is absolute, because Mercury's axis is almost perfectly upright. The sun never climbs high enough to reach these depths. Temperatures drop below 170 grados Celsius, creating sanctuaries for frozen water and volatile minerals. And yet, when instruments scanned them in ultraviolet, the darkness glimmered, a whisper of blue, the mark of light bouncing off crystalline frost. The ice here isn't like the ice in Earth's poles. It's mixed with dust and carbon, forming layers like translucent stone. Underneath, radar data suggests solid slabs, meters thick, millions of years old, untouched since the birth of the solar system. Standing at the edge of one would be like looking into infinity. The walls would shimmer faintly with frost, and beneath your feet, each crunch of dust would echo into silence. Your breath would frost against your visor, and the cold would feel not cruel, but eternal, like stillness that asks nothing but awe. Messinger scientists believe these icy pockets may hold the same water that once fell on early Earth, delivered by comets in the same storms of creation. So within Mercury's shadows, a fragment of our own beginnings remains preserved. The sleepy scientist's voice drops to a hush. The darkest places are where the oldest light rests. So breathe in the frost. Exhale into the hush. You don't need to escape darkness. You only need to look long enough to find what glows inside it. Mercury's blue craters remind us. Light does not vanish when hidden. It only waits for gentler eyes. When Mercury turns toward sunrise, its rugged cliffs and ridges light up like a woven tapestry. Sunlight pours over the edges of craters, and the rocky ridges gleam white silver, as if the planet itself were made of metal veins. These ridges, the lobate, scarps, formed as Mercury's crust folded while cooling, compressing the landscape into wrinkles that stretch for hundreds of kilometers. They are some of the most striking features on the planet. sharp at their crests, smooth along their slopes, etched like lines on an ageless hand. Messenger's high-resolution cameras captured these scars at sunrise, and under the low angle of light, they glittered. The rock contains small amounts of metallic minerals, iron and nickel, that catch sunlight just enough to shimmer. It's not brightness, but reflection, a glint that moves as the planet turns, like a slow heartbeat of light across stone. If you could walk there, you'd see the horizon ripple gently with brightness. Shadows sliding in slow procession, each ridge glowing, then fading, as though the planet were breathing silver into space. These ridges are ancient, some more than 13 billion years old, but they still move faintly under the planet's contraction. In cosmic time, they are wrinkles that have never fully settled. The sleepy scientist speaks softly. The light always finds the lines where things once bent. So, breathe in the shimmer. Exhale the weight of imperfection. The marks of pressure are not signs of weakness, but of form. Every wrinkle holds light differently, and that difference makes it beautiful. Mercury glows, not because it is smooth, but because it has endured the shaping of stars. Beyond the planet itself, Mercury's orbit glimmers faintly with a ring of dust, a ghostly halo that circles the sun where the planet travels. This ring, invisible to the naked eye, was first detected by the Parker Solar Probe in 2019. It is made of microscopic particles, cast off by comets and asteroids, and illuminated by sunlight in the quiet of deep space. The ring's brightness puzzled scientists. For years, they thought Mercury's passage would sweep dust away, not preserve it. But the probe revealed that Mercury moves gently through it, its gravity bending the dust into a permanent band. It's a celestial fingerprint, a memory of motion made visible by light. Every orbit, the planet renews this trail. Solar radiation pushes some dust outward, but more drifts inward, drawn by gravity, until the ring glows like faint gold around the sun. If you could see it from far above, it would look like a whisper, a glowing line looping endlessly through the void, following Mercury's path with patient precision. This ring tells a story of balance. Every loss, every atom the sun strips away, finds its place here. The planet's journey is written not in stone, but in the dust it leaves behind. The sleepy scientist's tone carries a quiet awe. Even what drifts away remains part of the orbit. So breathe in Mercury's trail of light. Exhale your grasp on permanence. Everything circles back, not as it was, but as reflection. Mercury's ghost ring glows, not from what it has kept, but from what it has released, a halo of motion, a promise of return. Mercury's story is one of endurance. It was born in fire, forged in the chaos of the young solar system, when worlds collided and skies were filled with molten stone. Most small planets didn't survive that age. They were shattered, swallowed, or scattered into the cold. But Mercury remained. Its survival is a mystery of gravity and chance. Scientists believe that early in its history, a massive collision tore away much of its outer shell, stripping it down to its dense metallic core. What should have destroyed it, instead, made it stronger. A planet of almost pure iron, small but indestructible. Messenger's data confirmed this. Mercury's core makes up 85% of its radius, far greater than any other planet's. That iron heart generates a faint but real magnetic field. a shield that still hums softly against the sun's fury. If you could stand there and feel it, it would not be heat you'd notice first, but resilience. The surface may scorch, but deep below, the core stays molten, a slow pulse of survival. This balance between destruction and endurance defines Mercury. It has been hit, cracked, burned, and yet it turns silent, whole, and shining. The sleepy scientist whispers, barely audible through the cosmic hum. Endurance is not defiance. It is listening closely enough to outlast the storm. So breathe with Mercury's patience. Inhale the memory of fire. Exhale the calm that comes after. You, too, are made of what survived collapse. Mercury does not chase the light, nor flee the dark. It remains, closest to the sun, but never consumed. A small world with a heart vast enough to echo eternity. Mini hook, yet even endurance leaves traces, and Mercury's surface bears them all. Tiny scars that record the passage of every storm, every age, every quiet miracle of survival. Fact 50, the memory of light. Look closely at Mercury's face. Each crater, ridge, and shadow is a word in the language of time. There are no winds to erase them, nor rains to soften them, no oceans to hide their age. Everything that ever struck Mercury remains written there, etched in dust and silence. Messenger's final descent, its last transmission before resting on the planet's surface, sent back images of these scars, delicate grooves, burnished plains, impact rings, so vast they could swallow continents. And yet, even there, light lingers. Sunlight slips between the fractures, gilding the rim of each crater, turning ruin into reflection. The planet does not mourn what was lost. It shines through what remains. If you could walk that surface, you'd hear nothing, but feel everything. A silence filled with the memory of creation, of heat turned into form, of violence tempered into peace. Mercury carries no illusions of permanence. It knows that stars fade, orbits shift, and light itself will one day dim. And still, it gleams, not with youth, but with acceptance. The sleepy scientist's voice grows softer, as if fading into the hum of cosmic dust. Nothing truly disappears in the universe. Everything becomes light again, eventually. So breathe one last time with Mercury. Inhale the warmth of the sun, the echo of ancient collisions, the music of magnetism, the shimmer of dust suspended between orbits. Exhale into quiet, the kind that holds the sound of everything at once. You have traveled across silence, through fire and frost, through light that bends and dust that sings. Now, as your breath slows, let the rhythm of the cosmos carry you home. And as the stars continue their slow, endless dance, you can let your thoughts drift with them, fading gently into the quiet of sleep. Now that the journey has circled to stillness, you can feel how Mercury lingers in you, not as a planet far away, but as a rhythm beneath your ribs. The same pulse that drives its molten heart moves quietly through your chest. Now, a shared gravity between body and star. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine standing once more on that scarred, silver surface. The sky, an unbroken black, the horizon trembling with gold. There is no wind, no echo, no motion that isn't your own, only the faint hum of sunlight brushing dust, and the deep patience of stone that has known billions of dawns. without ever hurrying to meet them. This is the peace Mercury offers, a peace born not from softness, but from endurance, from learning how to remain whole, in a place where everything burns, from turning toward the light, without fear of vanishing. Messinger's final images showed that even in silence, Mercury glows. The craters that cradle ice reflect blue, the ridges gleam in silver dawn, and its orbit leaves a golden ring of dust, woven through the sun's gravity, proof that nothing ever truly disappears. Everything circles, returns, and becomes light again. You can almost hear it, a long, slow exhale through space. Not a song exactly, but a tone, a vibration at the edge of perception. The planet breathing, the cosmos breathing, and you breathing with it. Let your breath follow that ancient tempo now. Inhale slowly, as though drawing sunlight through the darkness. Hold it just for a moment, and feel how the body quiets when it listens. Then exhale gently, and let that breath become part of Mercury's windless world. Each breath is an orbit, each pause a perihelion, the moment closest to light, and each release, the long drift back into shadow. You are part of this pattern too, a constellation of atoms that once floated in solar dust, now arranged into thought and warmth and feeling. The same iron that forms Mercury's heart runs quietly through your blood. The same photons that touch its surface brush against your skin. There is no distance, really, only scale, only time. The sleepy scientist's voice softens to a murmur, barely above the hush of space itself. We are all pieces of a single orbit. Some move fast, some slow, but every one of us turns toward the same light. Let that truth settle deep within. The mind often chases motion, plans, memories, sound, but the universe prefers rhythm. It does not rush, it does not regret, it simply turns and lets time shape its glow. Mercury reminds us that even in extremes, equilibrium can exist. That peace does not mean absence of fire, but the ability to stand beside it and still be whole. That endurance can be quiet, not steady orbit, a single shimmer of light against the pull of gravity. As you drift now, feel yourself loosening into that same stillness. Thoughts slow, edges soften, and the mind begins to float, like dust suspended in the ring of Mercury's path. Not falling, not flying, simply existing between forces. Perfect balance. The night outside is vast, but not empty. It hums with the memory of stars, and somewhere, the smallest planet continues its silent spin, faithful, constant, a spark, near the sun that refuses to fade. You can almost see it, gleaming like a seed of light, suspended in the dark ocean of space. Around it, the solar wind drifts like breath. Above it, starlight bends and folds, as if bowing in reverence to persistence itself. And within it, a core of molten iron beats softly, echoing your own pulse. The sleepy scientist lingers for a final moment, voice like a fading tide. In the stillness between orbits, remember, what endures is not the flame, but the quiet that allows it to shine. Let that linger. Let the idea of Mercury, its silence, its light, dissolve into you. No edges, no distance, only warmth, only the soft hum of being. Your breath has become the orbit now, your body, the vessel that carries it. And with every slow inhale, you move a little closer to the center of calm. With every exhale, you drift deeper into rest. There is no need to hold on anymore. The planet turns, the stars drift, the night waits, and as the stars continue their slow, endless dance, you can let your thoughts drift with them, fading gently into the quiet of sleep.